Oklahoma Republicans and Democrats are applauding a new tax credit that will help caregivers looking after family members. Political analyst Scott Mitchell explains how the credit works and gives us a sneak peek at some of the bills being filed by the state.
And welcome back. You know, there's always a lot of media attention on things that happen when the laws go into effect. If there's an emergency, they go in earlier, but at the first of the year, our colleague here on Your Vote Counts, who comes in a lot, Tammy West, had a bill that just seems to have knocked it out of the park.
She did. Majority Leader Tammy West from the northwest area of Oklahoma City, you've seen her here on Your Vote Counts several times, is an absolutely phenomenal member, one of the very best members I serve with. And what she passed was a caregiver tax credit. So if you are operating as a caregiver for maybe some of your adult, maybe your parents, maybe someone else, you can keep those receipts, keep those expenses, and receive a tax credit for what we're doing. It's an example of a serious member working on serious policy in a conservative way that gets stuff done. I love talking about it, and great job by Leader Tammy West.
Yeah, she's always serious about these things. And this is one of those, she's not trying to track headlines, just trying to do good things for people.
Yeah, this is an example of the kind of bill that if more legislators focused on, that our state would no doubt be a better place. I love this piece of legislation. As a grandson that had 4 grandparents that had the dignity of dying at home, one of which died of Alzheimer's but was still cared for by my grandfather, this bill would have been perfect for them. It's the kind of thing that would allow for them to incur some of those costs that many people can't afford at a nursing home or an assisted living care, and many people want the dignity of passing at home. This bill allows for that. I actually would like to see it increased in the future.
Okay, maybe where we're headed. Well, anyway, kudos to Representative West. That's across the board from what I'm hearing on this particular bill. All right. Now, one of those stories that you hear is that, well, legislators just work February to May, which is not true. I know that legislators work all year long. In January, even though we no longer meet in January, the legislature, lots of things are happening.
Yeah, a lot of stuff is happening right now. We're really getting warmed up for session to begin the first Tuesday of February. This is also that time of year, we've talked about it on this show. We actually talked about it in the first segment of the show a little bit. It's that time of year we're going to see a lot of press releases. You're going to see a lot of splash headlines about bills that are getting filed. There are another probably 2,000 bills that were filed on top of the ones that were still alive from last year. The vast majority of those will never become law. So before you get all super worked up and take to Facebook and rip the legislature for all the bad things they're doing, take a deep breath. Legislators are working. About 10% of the total amount of bills are actually going to become law. It's that time for everyone to just settle down and settle into session. Yeah,
there are a lot of clickbait bills, but some real good work goes on out there. Can you take us behind the scenes of what happens in January?
I can. So this will be my 8th year, and actually my final legislative session, my 8th year as Majority Floor Leader. So what's going on right now is bills are being filed, and for the 8th and final time, I'm going through every one of them. I'm determining which committees they're going to go to. I'm determining what we think the policy agenda of the House will be, working with the House caucus. And I think what you're going to see is some real serious legislation. We really want to finish strong, something I'm working on. We've seen what happened with higher education, what happened with the president of Harvard having to step down for just some awful anti-Semitic comments. What I think you're going to see, one of the things I'll be pushing next year is an additional leadership programs inside our state higher education. Get a little more balanced, get both conservative and liberal, we already have, more conservative viewpoints inside higher ed. I think it'll be a good year.
Is the John Echols farewell tour? I don't know, I'll have to bring a napkin and handkerchief for later in the year. But anyway, congratulations on another term, and good luck out there. Good to see you. Welcome back for the new year. We appreciate you watching Your Vote Counts in Oklahoma City and Tulsa. See this again at news9.com and news16.com, and follow me on my socials @MitchellTalks.